Oh, Rode. If only you made something that was a little bit smaller but still maintained all the functionality and innovative features.
Oh, Phil, there's a package here for you. It says it's an answer to all your prayers.
From the heavens above?
No, from down under.
From hell?
No, Australia.
Oh.
Thanks for checking out Radio.co on YouTube. If you want to see more kit reviews, live webinars, and handy broadcasting tips, then give us a thumbs up, hit subscribe, and click the bell icon. If, like me, you absolutely love the smart pads off your Rodecaster Pro 2, but wish it was just that little bit more portable, then oh yes, is this the right video for you today, as I have the pleasure of playing with this delightful little spin-off, the Rodecaster Duo. Now, this gorgeous little beast has somehow managed to cram everything delicious about the Rodecaster Pro 2 and almost, pretty much, slice it right down the middle, still offering the exact same high-quality, innovative features and functionality, but at half the size, more or less. Now, Rowan has kindly already done an excellent comparison video discussing every high, low, and jackalow of both the Duo and the Rodecaster Pro 2, so if you want to see how it stacks up against its bigger, slightly older sibling and decide which model is ultimately the right fit for you, then absolutely go and check that out right now. Maybe somewhere around my face. As for this video, this is somewhat of a very short beginner's guide to how you can easily begin using the Rodecaster Duo for your radio broadcasts and podcasting. Think of it as a whistle-stop tour of everything this little machine can do to make broadcasting and creating content a piece of cake. So enough preamble, let's get it plugged in. So here we are. Of course, you've already been seeing it for the last minute or so, but this is the Rodecaster Duo. And honestly, I've said it before, but it's literally just the exact same thing as I see here on my left, just a little bit smaller, but more portable. So on the surface, some differences are more notable than others. I guess the main one that draws your attention is a reduction in the faders, or rather the inputs that are available. So of course, on the Rodecaster Pro 2, you are used to having 4 microphone inputs and 4 audio outputs. So hence 4 mics there, 4 inputs at there. And on the Duo, there's only 2. So 2 microphones here, the one obviously I'm using right now, and a second one if I felt the need to get someone else on with me. And of course, connected to that is the 2 audio outputs as well. Now, although it still has a less microphone capabilities, it's still got additional faders. As you can see, it's still got that Bluetooth capability, which is a fantastic installment of the Rodecaster series. Just makes getting phone calls on your station or just zapping across some media. Maybe you've got an ad on your phone, or you've got a playlist of music on your tablet that you want to fire off. It just makes broadcasting so much easier, particularly for doing phone calls and things like that. So that is all ready to go here. And of course, we still have these smart pads, these awesome little doodads that are capable of just playing sound effects that you add on, or jingles, music. There is a slight reduction in the number of them, so there are 8 pads readily available here, and only 6, of course, here. But there are still banks and banks of the stuff for you to open up a lot of customizable ability. So there's still a huge amount of range of using those pads. It's just there's only 6 physical buttons at a time. Of course, likewise, again, there's still the additional sort of the faders for each headphone jack. And this knob here allows you to change some of the virtual inputs and amend some of the editing and the processing capabilities on that. I guess another striking difference is the record button. Where's it gone? Where's the record button gone? It's actually a virtual one. It's a digital button here built onto the screen there. For me, being an old man, I much prefer actually having something physical. I still grumble at the fact that my phone is touchscreen. I still prefer old school buttons. So I'd still be using my Rodecaster Pro 2 for that, just like the physical button. It still works the exact same way. It's just on your screen instead here in the top left. Be careful not to touch it because it will cut out what I'm saying right now. But that's it really for in terms of the functionality. Of course, it goes without saying it's smaller, it's a little bit lighter, but it's amazing how it still manages to pack all those incredible juicy features that made the Rodecaster Pro 2 such a massive improvement over the original one, which was still a awesome pizza kit. So it's still got those ultra low, high gain Revolution preamps built in here. Of course, Revolution preamp front and center, front and off to the right. So, and it still has the Aphex processing capability. So all things like our favorite big bottom. So that's all the physical differences. Everything under the hood is pretty much the same. So everything that made the Rodecaster Pro 2 so amazing, its ultra low noise, high gain Revolution preamps, for example, are still front and center here, or front and right, I guess here. Still very much in full use, still working amazingly well, as are the Aphex processing tools. So everything that made the Rodecaster Pro 2 capable of really giving you unrivaled levels of customization for your voice are still present here, ever present here, even lots of presets and things like that. So regardless of what voice or microphone you find yourself equipped with, you should be able to achieve everything you can on this bigger, better kit, just on this slightly smaller thing. Or honestly, everything that made this one so great is represented here. There is actually one thing that the Rodecaster Duo offers that the Rodecaster Pro 2 doesn't, and that is the inclusion of this. You might be able to see it right at the front if it's not blocked off here. Is this TRRS? I don't even see TRRS. Just say TRS cable or port there, and that allows for broadcasting with a headset. So a bit of a cheeky little thing there is, of course, you have your two XLR inputs there for your microphones, but it also allows you to connect kind of like a third microphone, particularly if you're using the Rode NTH 100. So if I was doing a broadcast with one of those, or a video meeting, for example, I could use that instead, and that actually works as a separate microphone. So nothing of the sort really in terms of boasting on the front of the device there. So that's a really cool inclusion. So at least it's all about portability. If you've got a headset at your disposal and that's what you want to use, particularly for your office, maybe you're using this as just a much more highbrow way of managing your video meetings and things, then hey, use a headset. It's absolutely capable of doing that. And of course, it's still able to connect wirelessly to any of your Rode bits of a wireless lapel mic. So like the Rode Me, for example, the Wireless Go Pro 2. So that'll work perfectly fine as well. So if you're coming to this video and you're like, Phil, I don't know how the Rodecaster Pro 2 works anyway, why are you talking about it as if I know? Don't worry, I'm going to spend the rest of this video kind of giving you a little, kind of like a whistle-stop little tour about the basics of using the Rodecaster Duo. If you want something that's a bit more in-depth, we have lots of other videos available which will deep dive into more pieces of equipment, particularly like the Rodecaster Pro 2. Rode, of course, do amazing videos and brochures, digi-brochures, I guess, of exactly how all their bits of kit work. So you'll be able to find it here. This is literally just showing you how you can get it out the box, get it plugged in, and very quickly learn the basics of using it for your broadcasting. So within the box, you will have your power cable, which is a USB-C going into, obviously, a mains plug. And if you're connecting this to your computer, you'll still come with a USB-C cable. So just be aware, a lot of kits these days, Rodecaster Duo, Rodecaster Pro 2, just to name two of them, are USB-C based now. So I know a lot of people have their laptops and their computers that aren't necessarily compatible with USB-C ports. Just make sure you do have the capabilities for that if you do, divulge yourself in any of these mixers. So USB-C powered, get it plugged in, get your microphone of choice, which is on here. By default, the first two faders, of course, are assigned to mic 1 and mic 2. Duo, of course, it's the purpose of this desk is to accommodate smaller setups. So, I personally have a Rodecaster Pro 2. I'll probably only ever use it just me. So it does a lot of extra things. It's got 3 microphone ports that are not going into any use, but it's just because I like fancy bits of kit. Had this been released beforehand, before I'd splashed my money on it, I probably would have got this because I only need the 1 or 2 microphones at most. So it's been designed for low, for smaller spaces. So again, in my office, it would be a perfect addition there. But I'm going to plug this microphone in here. It also comes with a number of presets that you can set, all thanks to the Aphex processing. So if I just click on this pink button here, I think that is the button of color by default. It allows you to customize any particular preset and sounds for your microphone. So there's actually, because again, it seems to be one of the world's most popular microphones, there's actually a preset already for the Shure SM7B. Hence, that's the one we're using. You can amend it further, so you can bring the levels down a little bit there. You can add a bit more big bottom. You can add a bit more of the individual processing. So clicking on these particular features allow you to see the levels in play that it's adjusting, and you can make further changes to it if you like. Same here, just a little further things there. You can make any changes to it. I'm not going to make any changes to it. I quite like this preset, but I know most of the time I don't enjoy presets, but I think Rode offers so many different variations of it that even, being audio experts themselves, I do have quite a lot of faith in the presets that they do tend to bring out. So I'm personally quite happy with what I've got at the moment. I'm not going to go into too much detail about any of the others available, but you might want to make changes, of course. If you've got any of the Rode microphones, of course, there'll be an option here on this beautiful HD touchscreen here. It's got haptic feedback on it. I've turned it off because every time I pressed it, it was going and I kept mistaking my phone for going off. That's this generation's woes, eh? So you can change it to, any of your Rode wireless microphones, the Rode PodMic, the Procaster, the Podcaster there. You can also see you can just do it as a generic. If your option's not there and you want some form of preset on it, there is still the option for a vague condenser or dynamic microphone. And just like the Rodecaster Pro 2, it's not just XLR microphone inputs, it's also instrumental inputs as well. So if you're using this to record a guitar here in this example, select that option. So lots of different options for your microphone of choice, or if you just want to pick a generic one there. It just adds a certain level of automatic depth and vibrance to your sound. So yeah, I'm quite happy with this preset here. I'm going to leave it as such.
Hey you! Yes you! Did you know you can start your very own radio station right now for free? Yes, for free. Simply click the link in the corner to start your 7-day free trial today.
So that's a couple of options for your microphones. Of course, they'll be completely replicated in your Fader 2 if that's what you've assigned a microphone as. Again, I'm just using one microphone, so I might just only have one microphone available. Fader 2 might be Bluetooth or SmartPads or whatnot. If you want to change any of the inputs, you can do that very simply. Because it's recording right now on here, we're actually recording the sound of this little webinar here on there. It won't actually let me change right now what the actual faders do. So you're just going to have to take my word for it. But what you can do is you'll go on the settings button here. You'd click on the faders option, and you can literally just drag and drop in where you want it to be. So if I didn't want Bluetooth to be number 3, and I, in fact, planned on using a playout software as part of my live broadcast. So I wanted to use something like Virtual DJ, for example. I was mixing my music on there. I wanted the feed from that piece of kit to go through the desk and then the desk into my computer and then as part of my broadcast. For that, I would need it to be able to pick up and for me to adjust the levels of my USB input. So I would take my USB input here, plug that into my computer, and then I would then fade up the fader for USB input 1. At the moment, it's just a virtual one, so I could still very much use it. I just click on that option on the touchscreen, and I'd assign this. So maybe all the time, every time. I'm not able to necessarily customize it on the fly. I can do, of course, but I much prefer a fader there. It's seamless. But I could just set it to a specific level, and everything going through USB port 1 will be picked up like so. You can also mute it and preview it as well. Fader 4 here, we've got our smart pads. And so in order to use the smart pads, or rather in order to actually put some content on them, you are going to need to use Rode Central. Rode Central, really great, works pretty much like a mixer assistant. You can make all the necessary changes to your Rodecaster Duo and the Rodecaster Pro 2 from your computer screen if you want to, but of course you can just do it on the actual device itself. But through there, that's where you will upload and change and edit the names of all of your files. So we've pre-installed it with a couple of things, a lot of couple of sound effects like here, crickets, of course, the record scratch. the audience there. And it's just really fun. It's a good way of just having instant access to content. It's nothing that you would load music onto unless it was an instrumental bed. We might have a couple of instrumental beds here, maybe. No, but that was a sparkle and I really enjoyed that. But yeah, you can just assign anything that's like a jingle. If you're doing a live broadcast and there's a sponsorship tag that needs to be played, SmartPad's a perfect example of using that. If you want to fire off a jingle mid-show or in the middle of some tracks transitioning. If you had a best bit maybe and you want to just remind people of a segment that happened on your show yesterday or last week, it's just a way for you to fire off things. It's not to be used to loading up your show's worth of music and firing them off. You can do that. It's technically possible to do that. It might be a little fiddly. You'd rather just use something like a playout software alongside that. There are also the options for having sound effects. So again, I can come to my keypad here for the SmartPads by clicking on this option button, and I can configure what all of these SmartPads do. Like here, so I can change maybe where they are, what's the name of them. I can change the colors of them, of course. I can change it from it being like a hotkey, like a jingle, to a sound effect if I wanted to. To show you how one of these works, I think there's one loaded up here. We'll see. It's a bit hard to see it on this side. There we go. Pitch up. That's what I wanted.
So I could do that, and now I've got a nice little squeaky voice. So again, what use would you necessarily have for your radio station with a squeaky voice like this? Unless, it was just for some giggles, like but yeah, you can do this as well. You can turn it on.
Turn it off as much as you like. Maybe do a video meeting next time with this on and go.
Hi, so the agenda today is we're going to be talking about some budget cuts.
It's a good way to kind of diffuse some bad news you're giving. You can make robot noises. You can, pitch it down, of course. And I'm sure the Rode will, in future updates, they'll make other presets and effects for you to play around with and stuff. But it's just a little bit of fun, really. You're doing a radio broadcast. Even if what you're talking about or what you're playing is serious, of course, you still got to enjoy what you're doing. And just having things like this, the capability of doing so, if it should ever come up, is perfect. And these can be edited and changed anytime you like. And as I say, these two keys are ones we haven't filled up yet, as is this bank here. So there's a few banks of that we haven't used up just yet. But that's the SmartPads, and I think that's a fantastic introduction, particularly if you want something that's very radio-y. Just being able to just fire off something is lovely. And as I say, the other virtual mixers here that can be edited are like a chat back. And also, audio inputs. So USB audio inputs 1 and 2. So you can have two devices or even a USB microphone plugged in as well. And that's kind of like the basics of using it, really. There are, lots of customization options here. Within your settings, your outputs, of course, you can adjust sort of the headphone port that's in here, and you can actually set presets for your headphones as well. So we're using it for this particular headphone output here, different levels of sensitivity, depending on what it is that you are looking to use. So different options there for what sort of equipment, again, you're going to be using other than microphones. You can sort out more processing options. They're all available here rather than just on the specific microphone inputs. The monitor's great because I personally prefer broadcasting with just my headphones on. But I know, when I've worked in radio stations in the past, they like to, of course, have the monitors out, and this might be your preferred way of broadcasting as well. Why not? Particularly when you're doing a live show. Setting this up means that if you've got music playing throughout your monitors, and that can be set up externally, again, through the outputs in the back, if you were to put your microphone up and start talking, it will automatically mute your monitors to avoid any feedback and things. So the fact that this piece of kit, this smaller piece of kit, is capable of doing that as well, again, just saves you so much time. That's kind of the things really with the Rodecaster series is, sure, they are absolutely not the cheapest mixers and consoles on the market. They're also not the most expensive, but they're not the cheapest. If you're looking to start out in broadcasting radio, I always advise that the least you need is just average powered computer, internet connection. Why not, use a very basic, maybe like a Behringer mixer and stuff. They're big, they're bulky, they're heavy, but they do the absolute job, and you can get them for like £50 or something like that. But if you really want to future-proof your station and just give you so much more options and fun, really, to to play hotkeys and manage multiple inputs, have Bluetooth, have a play around with how it sounds and how you can really affect how your voice sounds, because ultimately that's what people are going to be listening to, then, why not just invest a little bit more in something like this, because you absolutely would not need to use anything else. And there we have it. That's the basics of using the Rodecaster Duo. You see what I mean? If you have used the Rodecaster Pro 2 in the past, it is literally the exact same thing, just wonderfully smaller and much more portable. It's still not half the price as you would hope so, but it still is a cheaper option, particularly if you don't need the additional 2 physical microphone input or you're a bit of lack of space, then it's definitely a fantastic option to get. And no doubt we'll be using this a lot more, particularly when we go on location or we do different styles of filming and stuff, or comparing it to a lot of other mixers available. Is the Rodecaster Duo the best mixer you can get for the size, or for a little bit more, should you just go for the Rodecaster Pro 2? It's an exciting time for mixers and consoles like this, because so many other respectful and notable brands and companies are bringing out their own versions of it. So hopefully more and more are going to be looking for direct competition to the Rodecaster Pro 2, because it is a formidable beast. Now they've got this other option. There's the Streamer X as well, which is specifically Rode's attempt at helping you have an all-in-one system for video streaming as well, and live streaming. So no doubt we'll have a video about that in the near future. But hopefully that's given you a good idea on how this little baby works. If you want access to more videos, guides, reviews, tutorials, guidance, cheerleading, anything to do that will help you launch your very own internet radio station, then our YouTube channel is the best place to get all of that content. Make sure that you give us a thumbs up, subscribe, click the bell icon so you immediately get notified of any new videos we create, because we make a lot of them and they're all great fun to do, and they're just, it's all about radio. We're all big nerds, aren't we? And until next time, take care and happy broadcasting. And just before you go, have you ever thought about launching your very own internet radio station? Surprisingly, it's a lot easier than you may think, especially when you make the time to chat to myself or a member of the Radio.co team. To do just that, head to our website, radio.co/demo, where I can talk about your plans, any questions you may have, and me and the team can really get you up to speed in launching your own internet radio station in literally minutes. It couldn't be easier. Why not check out some of our webinars, tutorials, help guides situated around me? Or why not visit our website, radio.co, or even drop me an email, studio@radio.co. Until next time, take care and happy broadcasting.